Guys, it's September the 20th, 2024, and I hope everybody's having a great Friday so far today. It is currently, I think, somewhere around like 11 o'clock in the morning right now, and going ahead and getting today's video done. One of the subscribers left a comment in yesterday's video, and they were asking me to discuss how I felt when when I would wake up in the morning, make myself a drink, and then go through that whole process throughout the day. I would, get up, have a couple drinks in the morning, drink throughout the day, get off of work, get all excited because I got to drink again, drinking to the point where I just got super intoxicated. And what they were saying is that, they would go throughout their day, do the same thing, get off work, get really drunk. And then when they would lay down in the bed at night, they would lay there hating themselves and saying, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. I hate my life. Why am I drinking in this manner? And then go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and just go back to doing it all over again. And man, can I relate to that? Because I did that every single day. I went to bed every single night telling myself that this is it. I'm not drinking anymore. Today is the last day. I'm not drinking tomorrow. I told myself that every single day, and it never worked out. Every single day, I would wake up in the morning feeling so bad. And when I woke up in the morning, as I'm leaning over the toilet throwing up, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I continuing to drink like this? I just had completely lost control of my life. I completely lost control of my life. And the feeling of guilt, the feeling of shame, the feeling of being lost, it was unbearable. I really was lost, completely lost. I'd gone down the deepest, darkest hole I'd ever been in my entire life, and I did not know any way to get out of it. And what I wanted to talk about today, basically, and it really made me think about the hair of the dog. And that's what I'm going to title today's video, is the hair of the dog. I'll never forget when I discovered the hair of the dog, the first time that I did it. And it was one of those things to where, I wasn't drinking like that at that point. I was just drinking beer during that period of time. And I say just drinking beer, like it's okay to drink beer as well, but I wasn't at the liquor yet. And I wasn't drinking tremendous amounts of vodka at that point yet. I was just basically a Bud Light drinker during that period of time, or Budweiser. But I'll never forget, I'd gotten really drunk one night, and I'm pretty sure I was hanging out with my brother, and we woke up the next morning, and it was one of those days. My brother had just gotten out of the military, and we were hanging out a lot during that period of time, and I think he had spent the night at my house. We woke up that morning, and I decided to go ahead and crack a beer to make myself feel better. I'd heard about it before. I just had never done it. And when I drank that beer that morning, man, it was like magic. It really was. Take 2 Advil and drink 2 beers, and boom, hangover gone. Completely gone. And as a matter of fact, I'm back feeling great again. The thing with the hair of the dog is that is chasing that dragon. And, I would start to get that really good buzz in the morning, and I chased it all day. I didn't want to give that up. You guys know as well as I do that if you start drinking and you stop, you feel like crap after you do that. I mean, you feel horrible. Have you ever gotten super drunk during the day, fell asleep early, and then woke up and you have that day hangover? Those are some of the worst ones. You wake up dazed, confused, head splitting down the middle, you're throwing up. You just feel so bad. You're so thirsty that, you feel like you could drink a gallon of water. You're just in such bad shape. And, I used to wake up in the morning every single day feeling in that way, every day. And, some days worse than others. But for the most part, every single day I woke up feeling like absolute garbage. It's one of those things too. I often think back to those days and think about how I woke up every single day feeling so bad. I mean, horrible. And I wake up every morning now. I have aches and pains, and I don't feel good a lot of the time, but I don't feel anywhere near as bad as I used to when I was a drinker. Nowhere near it. And the funny thing about it is that when you wake up every single day feeling that way, and when you finally remove that substance, for the most part, alcohol, I don't have a lot of experience with, other substances. I've tried a lot of other substances, but, I never really delved that deep into them. So I don't know what like the hangovers absolutely really feel like from those other substances. If I ever did anything, I was always drinking on top of it anyway. So I just felt the hangover. I couldn't tell the difference of what was going on. I just knew that I felt like crap in the morning when I would wake up. But my point is that when you wake up every single day feeling like that, when you finally get sober, it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you could wake up with the flu and you're like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. When you put yourself through that much hell every single day for years on end, and then when you finally get sober, it's like you're undefeatable. I was watching I can't remember exactly what it was, but they were talking about how, when you're a drinker or using drugs and you're in the middle of your addiction and your life is just completely falling apart, and then when you finally get sober, you've been through so much that when you finally get sober, you've been through so much hell that when you finally get sober, life is like so much easier because you've been through so much. You've been through so many hard times. You've been through so much destruction because of the alcohol or the drugs, and it's wreaked so much havoc on your life, not only on your life, but your health, and you just feel bad all the time, and you've had all these problems that occur, and then you get sober and things just kind of start falling into place, and you don't have all this drama in your life anymore. You're not going to the bar and hanging out till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then, waking up to that phone call, do you remember what you did last night? You wake up in the morning and you just went to bed the night before and nothing bad happened. You don't have anything to regret from the night before other than maybe you ate a little bit too much or something. But it's so freeing when we're not using substances or drinking anymore, and we don't have all that turmoil in our life any longer. It's just life. It's like it's like being on roller skates. I mean, it really is. But back to the hair of the dog. Gosh, thinking back on those days, they were horrible. They really were. And one of the things about the hair of the dog is that this used to happen to me so often. I would wake up in the morning and, like I said, throw up every single day. And in the beginning, I had to stick my finger down my throat to puke in the morning. And, I started throwing up like that because I would be so nauseous in the morning. And, one morning I just threw up and I realized, oh, wow, I threw up. Now I feel a million times better. So I just started doing it every morning. I would stick my finger down my throat and throw up. And then as time went on, all I had to do was just look at the toilet seat and it just came out. Or I just walked out the side door and threw up. It didn't matter. I just threw up. And one of the saddest things about it is I can remember being on like camping trips with my kids, sleeping in my hammock. And, they would wake up in the morning because I would be leaning off the side of the hammock puking, and they could hear me doing it. And it was always guys, I ate something bad. That dad ate something and it just messed his stomach up, and that's the reason I'm throwing up. Meanwhile, I know all along it's because I got drunk the night before. Gosh, I wonder what was going through their head during that period of time, but that's for another day. My point is that, I would get up in the morning, throw up, and then start drinking, and especially on my days off. I cannot tell you how many days, and I was just thinking about this as I was walking out here today to film this video, because I kind of was like mentally prepared to talk about hair of the dog, and I started thinking about back in those days and the things that I went through. And one of the things that used to really, really get to me that would happen when I used to, drink the hair of the dog, especially on my days off, is I would wake up in the morning, mix myself a drink, and, drink that one drink. And then usually I'd have another one. And then I'd kind of lay off for a little while or whatever. But a lot of times on my days off, I would get up, make myself a drink, make myself another drink. And then I would always get to this tipping point where I'd say, okay, I'm like really buzzing right now. I mean, when it's like 8 a.m. in the morning and, you're sitting on your back porch, the sun's shining on your face, and you're already like super buzzing. I would be out there smoking a cigarette early in the morning, feeling super good at that point. I would hit that tipping point and I would have to make a decision right then, because I would have like all these things that I had planned to do for that day. And I've always been a checklist guy, always, my whole entire life. I've always wrote checklists. So for my days off, I would have a checklist written out of things I wanted to get accomplished for that day. And I would get that checklist out and start looking at it. And I would be at that tipping point where I had to make a decision. And I would go, okay, I can go ahead and get this stuff done now. I can get up and get moving, or I can have another drink. And often I would go, I'm going to have that other drink. And right there at that tipping point was when my whole entire day was ruined. And I cannot tell you how many days I ruined. I cannot tell you how many days I sat on my back porch at 11 o'clock in the morning smoking a cigarette, shaking my head, thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm this drunk already this early in the morning. My day is ruined. There is absolutely nothing else I'm going to be able to get accomplished today other than fall asleep here in about 30 minutes. And that's really what would happen. Drinking my Aldi brand blackberry soda water this morning. Stuff's really good. Speaking of soda waters, man, I can't talk about them enough. They really do fill that gap when you start to get a craving, especially if you're a beer drinker. And one of the flavors that I really like is the grapefruit flavor. It's got that little bit of bitter flavor to it. It kind of reminds me of a beer, to be honest. And if you drink it fast enough, you really just can't tell a difference. You get that nice cold feeling in your stomach like you drank a beer, that little burn on the back of your throat. They really do work to fill that gap, especially in the beginning when you first quit. They fill it. But anyway, I don't want to get too far off subject here, but back to what I was saying, my day would be gone, and it happened to me so many times. I have no idea. I couldn't even count. And I would often get 1 or 2 days off a week. It just depended on what was going on. But for the most part, my days off were ruined. Completely ruined. And if I had a day where let's say we had a really slow night at work and I had the opportunity to slide out of there at, let's say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday because there was only 10 reservations on the books and my sous chef could handle it for the night, and I got out of there early. The first thing I did as soon as I got off work was I started drinking. And instead of coming home and spending the afternoon with my kids and spending the afternoon with my family, doing family things, I would just, first of all, I would have to catch a buzz before I got home. And then as soon as I got to the house, it was just, full on drinking until I passed out. And that was every day. I just wasted so much time drinking. So many things I could have been doing, so much stuff I could have gotten accomplished, and I just didn't do it because I got too intoxicated. And it always started with that hair of the dog in the morning. That's what would always be the catalyst of my day. Because thinking back, before I started drinking in the morning, I would get up, get a bunch of stuff done, and I always told myself, I can't drink until I get my stuff done. Or I would wait until later on in the afternoon before I would start drinking, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Especially if I had yard work or something like that to do, I might, would get on my lawnmower in the morning and then get that done, and then maybe have a beer after I got done with that around noon or something. But I really just wouldn't start really drinking until later on in the afternoon. But it all changed as soon as I started drinking the hair of the dog. That's when everything changed for me. That's when my alcoholism completely got out of control. I'll just never forget those feelings of going to bed at night and telling myself I'm not drinking tomorrow. So many days of coming home from work and saying today's going to be the last day. This is it. I'm tired of feeling like this. I mean, there were days where I would go to work, and like I said, I worked in a private dining club, which was also a bed and breakfast. And so we had like 12 rooms upstairs. It was an old mansion that I worked in. And we had all these rooms, and especially up on the fourth floor where my office was located, there were bedrooms up there that were rarely used. I mean, hardly ever. And there were days where I would go up there and have to lay down during the shift. You know, I'd tell my boss, like, I'm just not feeling well today. I'm not going home, but I need to go upstairs and just lay down for a little bit. And it was always, I got a stomach bug or whatever it is. I just always had an excuse for some reason that I didn't feel good that day. But it was always because I was hungover. And I would have to go up there and lay down for a little while. And then, you know, limp my way through the rest of the day after that. Because I would feel so bad. I remember going to work one day, and I've talked about this, but we were drinking strawberry margaritas one night, and I was making them so strong. And I had gotten all these fresh strawberries, and I'd put them in my freezer. We ended up with too many strawberries, and I couldn't eat them all, so I froze a bunch of them, and then got this great idea. Well, I've got all these frozen strawberries, so now I'm going to make frozen margaritas, and I was doing it like every single night. And I had my old buddy come over one night with his wife, and we stayed up super late drinking strawberry margaritas. I got so drunk that night. Woke up the next morning, and it was a Sunday morning when I had to go to work. I was so sick. I laid on the prep table in the back. So in between each order that would come in, because not only, you know, was I a chef, but I also had to cook. You know, I worked at a very small establishment. So it's not like I just walked around with a white chef coat on all day long and pointed things out to people. No, I actually cooked every single day. And I cooked lunch and dinner. You know, I was in there with those guys in the kitchen. I mean, I was on the line. It was hot. There was no air conditioner back there at all. We had fans. That kitchen would get, you know, 120, 130 degrees during the summertime. I'm talking about super hot. And when you're hungover like that in a hot kitchen like that, man, that's a recipe for disaster. But, you know, I had to, every single time I'd get an order out, I'd go lay back down on the prep table. And I spent my whole entire day like that. You know, I had a bunch of kitchen towels I'd laid on there as a pillow, and in between each order I'd go lay down, and I'd have to get back up and do it again. But I just remember limping through that entire day. I felt so bad, and I told myself that day too, like, this is it. Of course I got off work that day and went right back to drinking. You know, I had to get rid of that hangover. But you know, like I said, I really do believe the hair of the dog is what completely changed my drinking habits, and it changed everything for me. Because I wasn't waiting until the afternoon anymore to drink. I was getting up first thing in the morning and drinking every single day. And that's when I started drinking all day long, because I had to keep chasing that buzz. I got a buzz every single morning. I had to get a buzz in the morning. My anxiety would be out of control. I remember just sitting there like having a panic attack because I knew that I had to drive my car to work that day. And like I'm telling you guys, like, I was so afraid to drive during that period of time because I felt so weird when I would wake up in the morning. And now looking back, I know my blood sugar was out of control. I was confused because of that. You know, things would be like really blurry. My vision was off in the mornings. I felt like almost out of body when I would wake up in the mornings. And I was afraid to drive. I always had this feeling like I was going to pass out when I was driving to work and crash my car. That's how bad that I felt. And then on top of it, you know, I'm waking up in the morning, mixing myself a couple of liquor drinks before I even got in the car. It's a miracle I never got a DUI. I still to this day don't know how in the heck I got away with that. You know, my BAC was already through the roof when I wake up in the morning. And then on top, I'm drinking on top of that and then driving to work. If I had gotten pulled over, that would have been it. The police would have smelled it on me immediately as soon as I rolled my window down, because I reeked of booze every single day. And I would go to work and try to disguise it and, you know, get myself a cup of coffee or something and walk around thinking that sipping on coffee, they wouldn't be able to smell it. Or I'd go to work and start eating something. I always had mints in my mouth thinking that was going to cover it up. I knew everybody. Looking back now, I know everybody had to smell it on me. They had to. I reeked of booze. I could smell it coming off of my breath, coming out of my mouth and up my nose. You know that feeling when you wake up in the morning and you can just taste the alcohol in your mouth still, and you can smell it coming off your breath, and it's like coming out of your pores when you wake up. It's like your whole body just reeks of liquor. I smell it like that every single day. So there's no way they didn't smell it coming off of me. But maybe they just thought that I drank a lot the night before, because everybody knew that I was a serious drinker. Everybody knew I was an alcoholic back then. And, looking back now, I knew I was too. I just didn't want to do anything about it. Well, I guess I did want to do something about it. I just didn't know how to do something about it. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't. And I tried so many times. But I got to say, to that subscriber's question, I absolutely would wake up in the morning and make myself a drink and ask myself, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I still living this life? And it's one of those things, it's not like it just happens overnight. It gradually creeps up on you, slowly but surely. And before you know it, you're fully in the grasp of addiction. And, getting out of that, it's not easy. And for anybody out there that's watching this right now, and, you're currently in the grasp of addiction and you want to get out of it, it's possible. You can do it. You just speak to a doctor first, please, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not affiliated with any of them. I'm just a guy that has a lot of experience with being an alcoholic or a person with AUD. And I drank for a very long time, and I drank a lot, and I almost lost my life because of my drinking. And as a matter of fact, not only did I almost lose my life once, but I almost lost my life like 3 or 4 times. And, I'd quit drinking, and months later ended up in the hospital again with pancreatitis. My liver was shutting down. I had caused so much damage to my body. I went back in the hospital, and then what was it? That was October, the end of September. So it was the end of this month, like 2 years ago, when I almost lost my life. But October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So then 7 months later, I was back in the hospital again with pancreatitis again. And I hadn't drank. It had almost been a year since I had drank, and I'm back in the hospital again with pancreatitis again, and I hadn't drank in almost a year. That's how much damage I had caused to myself, and I'm still dealing with the consequences because of it. But once again, you can change your life. You can turn all this around. It's not easy. It's going to take some work. You are going to feel uncomfortable. I'm just going to be completely honest with you right now. But is it worth it? Absolutely. And with anything that's worth anything in this world, it takes hard work. And it can be done. But speaking to a doctor, they can help you along. I've been through a medical detox. It helped me tremendously. And you could go through one too. And from what I understand as well is that you can go through a medical detox at home now. I'm not 100% sure about that, but somebody just said in the comments the other day that they will send you home. I can't remember what it is. You're supposed to ask for something. I can't remember what it is, but they'll help you at home, and they'll give you some medications to take that'll help you with the withdrawals, because stopping alcohol abruptly can be life-threatening, and you have to be aware of that. And stopping benzodiazepines abruptly is the same. Those are the only 2 drugs that, if you stop abruptly, can actually take your life. So you have to be very careful with it. And like I said, just speak to a doctor. I know it's not comfortable. I know it's not what you want to do. But trust me when I tell you, at some point, if you keep drinking in the way that you are, you're going to end up talking to a doctor either way. And the conversation later on down the road is going to be a heck of a lot worse than the conversation that you're going to have with your doctor right now. And just being upfront and honest with them and telling them that you need help, how much you've actually been drinking. Don't lie to them. Just tell them the truth. They need to know, so they know if they need to help you through this or not. But when you're honest with them now, I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's something that you don't want to do. But if you're upfront, honest, tell your doctor the truth, they can help you through this. And you could potentially save yourself so much grief if you just go ahead and do it now. It is so worth it. It really is. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. Just look at the comments of any of these videos and how many people are here that have changed their life and gotten sober and have turned everything around, and their life has changed for the better. And like I said in the beginning, yeah, it's kind of difficult, and you're still going to face challenges. Even, I've got, 2 years, some change, and I still face challenges on a daily basis. I still get cravings. I still have to fight those urges off. I just don't drink. I don't give in to them. And as time goes on, those feelings, they start to get, further and further apart. But it is possible, and you can actually change your life. But if you're drinking in the morning, you're getting that hair of the dog every single day, it's definitely time to speak to a doctor. It's definitely time to seek help. Because when it gets to that point, you're waking up every day drinking, you definitely have a problem. And, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're waking up every day making yourself a drink, 2, 3, whatever it is, you have a problem. You need to get help. And, reach out to me if you need to. I can help you along with, whatever you need, but you definitely need to speak with a doctor as well. So with that said, guys, that's it for today. I really appreciate every single one of you watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a live video or not this week. I've got an interview I've got to do on Sunday, and that's going to be like, I think we're talking at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm probably going to be on a Zoom with him for most of the afternoon. I might try to do one tomorrow afternoon. I'm not exactly sure yet how that's going to work out. I can't remember what we have going on tomorrow during the day. I'll have to speak with my wife this afternoon when she gets off work and find out. But if I do decide to do a live, I'll post up a reminder in the morning and let all you guys know. It'll be in the afternoon if I do so. I'm pretty sure that we have a soccer game that we have to go to in the morning. But once again, if I do a live this week, I'll post it up in the morning so you guys can all check it out and, find out what time that's going to be and everything. But otherwise, I'll just do a regular video as normal, and the same thing on Sunday. And if I skip a live this week, I'll definitely do one next week. Like I said, I've just got an interview I've got to do on Sunday, and it's going to take up all of my afternoon. That's when I usually like to try to get those done. My wife usually on Sunday afternoons, if I do a live, she'll spend the rest of the afternoon outside with her animals. So it gives her a chance to get her stuff done while I do my stuff. But I'm going to be caught up with that all day. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow if that's what I decide to do. But once again, thank you so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it. And with that said, you guys have a great day. Love y'all so much. Bye-bye.